After traveling for half a day, an ancient ship carrying an elder, a winged woman, and a red-robed youth arrived outside Yuan City. The elder admired the city and noticed that only the inconspicuous chaos one-color array could not be seen through. Recognizing it as proof of Luo Feng's extraordinary abilities, the winged woman and the red-robed youth also sensed the formation's powerful pressure. The three quietly entered the city without being detected by either the guards or the city's formations. Seeing that Yuan City had already returned to normal after the recent war, they concluded that the city's losses had not been severe. Luo Feng and Yuan Shan palace master appeared before them to welcome them. Yuan Shan introduced the elder as Bo Shu, a cultivator of the true witch lineage whose strength even surpassed his own peak and whom he regarded as half a teacher. He also introduced Bai Yin Divine Emperor, known for her cold and proud personality, and Kai Zhen Divine Emperor, whose bare-handed combat strength was enough to kill a super-limit-level low-level primordial life. All three showed great respect toward Luo Feng, while Luo Feng politely welcomed them to the Elder Hall, the most honored place for receiving guests in Yuan City. After taking their seats, Bo Shu requested confirmation that the enchanting heartworm had truly been killed. Luo Feng revealed the corpse, allowing the three visitors to inspect it carefully. They confirmed that the life core had been shattered and declared the mission successfully completed. Bo Shu remarked that they had easily earned half of the battle merit because Luo Feng had eliminated the enchanting heartworm before it could scatter its offspring throughout the 9 Rivers sacred realm. Kai Zhen noted that if Luo Feng had delayed, hunting down the offspring would have become extremely difficult. Bo Shu pointed out that Luo Feng had obtained an enormous number of low-level primordial life corpses, far more than anyone in the 9 Rivers sacred realm could realistically purchase. Yuan Shan Palace Master explained that even buying a single super-limit level corpse was beyond the capability of almost every force in Yuan City. With one complete corpse valued at approximately 10 billion primordial crystals, Kai Zhen explained that the Dark Sacred Realm had many powerful forces capable of buying even many times Luo Feng's current spoils, while also offering far better cultivation resources. Luo Feng acknowledged that the 9 Rivers sacred realm had very limited resources suitable for him, with only the Undying Heart and Palm World being truly valuable. Luo Feng asked about the primordial hall in the Dark Sacred Realm. Bai Yin explained that it was even larger than Yuan City and contained countless treasures, including many high-level primordial life corpses, 7 complete world-level primordial life corpses, and many imprisoned living high-level primordial lives. Cultivators could observe these prisoners closely, and with enough battle merit, they could even exchange for a completely sealed high-level primordial life as a research subject. Bo Shu said he had always wanted such a prisoner but lacked sufficient battle merit. Bai Yin further explained that the primordial hall contained countless complete bloodlines. Super-limit level bloodlines were considered insignificant there, while ambitious cultivators sought high-level primordial life bloodlines or even world-level primordial bloodlines. She mentioned that 2 cultivators in the Dark Sacred Realm had successfully exchanged for world-level primordial bloodlines. The primordial hall also offered countless secret treasures, inheritances, cultivation opportunities, and many other resources, all obtainable through battle merit, while primordial crystals could purchase only a small selection of items. Hearing this, Luo Feng became eager to visit because his cultivation path relied heavily on studying different bloodlines, and only the Dark Sacred Realm could provide enough advanced bloodlines for his research. Bo Shu advised Luo Feng that the 9 Rivers Sacred Realm no longer posed any challenge for him and encouraged him to travel to the Dark Sacred Realm, where the dangers and opportunities were both much greater. He believed Luo Feng could eventually reach the Invincible level there. When Luo Feng asked about the Invincible level, Kai Zhen explained that such experts were rarely seen because they had already been taken away by Senior Yuan and others. Bai Yin added that those taken away had likely broken free from the braided cage, allowing them to escape the limitations of the source world and freely roam the infinite primordial space. When Luo Feng asked what defined the Invincible level, the group explained that mastering 2.5 primordial paths represented the normal pinnacle of strength in the Dark Sacred Realm. To become invincible, one's power had to exceed that pinnacle by an overwhelming margin. Bai Yin explained that even cultivators who mastered 3.5 primordial paths often failed to achieve such a qualitative transformation. Yuan Shan Palace Master mentioned Divine Emperor GK, whose world-level primordial bloodline only slightly surpassed the other pinnacles, while another senior named Mo Jia explored the bloodline much further, reached the Invincible level, was taken away by Senior Yuan and others, and was believed to have broken free from the braided cage. Bo Shu explained that there were 3 recognized paths to reaching the Invincible level. The first was allowing one's spiritual will to break free from the braided cage, creating overwhelming willpower capable of crushing all opponents. The second was achieving a breakthrough through bloodline evolution. The third was fusing the 2 half-primordial level paths cultivated together, producing a qualitative transformation. Kai Zhen said that most invincible experts throughout the Dark Sacred Realm's history had followed the first path. Only one was known to have succeeded through bloodline power, and none were known to have achieved the third path there. Bai Yin added that other world clusters likely had examples of the third path, which was officially recorded in the Primordial Hall as the most difficult yet highest potential method. Bo Shu concluded that the deeper one's understanding of the Great Tao, the greater the future potential. Luo Feng thanked everyone for sharing their knowledge, gaining a much clearer understanding of the road ahead. His life and death Tao had already reached the late Divine Emperor stage, giving him combat abilities superior to ordinary cultivators who mastered 2.5 primordial paths, though still within the same overall level. Once his life and death Tao advanced to the half-primordial level, it would undergo a qualitative transformation and reach the Invincible level. Before leaving, Bo Shu invited Luo Feng to return to the Dark Sacred Realm together after staying in Yuan City for a few days and offered to introduce him to other companions. Luo Feng declined, explaining that he had only recently broken through and needed a period of secluded cultivation to fully consolidate the effects of the 100 Tribulations heart essence before traveling to the Dark Sacred Realm. After the Battle of Yuan City, the Cultivator team remained in the city for 2 days, exchanging insights on the Tao with Luo Feng and Yuan Shan Palace Master. Since reaching their level made further progress extremely difficult, such discussions helped deepen both their understanding and friendship. When they departed, Bai Yin Divine Emperor invited Luo Feng to visit Chungfang City in the Dark Sacred Realm, while Luo Feng welcomed them to contact him once they arrived there. The elder and the red-robed young man also bid farewell before their ancient ship disappeared into the distance. After the team left, Yuan Shan Palace Master also prepared to depart. He explained that he had originally intended to leave immediately after the battle but had stayed 2 extra days to reunite with old friends. Confident that Luo Feng could protect Yuan City, he decided to disperse all his avatars outside and devote himself entirely to fighting the high-level primordial pollution in his homeland, determined either to suppress it completely or be consumed by it. Luo Feng understood the grave danger, knowing that if Yuan Shan Palace Master fell, his soul would be permanently destroyed. Unlike cultivators born in the billions of worlds created by Senior Yuan and other supreme beings, who still had a chance of resurrection through their creators after escaping the braided cage, experts originating from the source world could never be revived because the supreme rules prevented outside interference. Yuan Shan Palace Master calmly accepted this possibility, believing he had already reached the pinnacle of the dark world and had no regrets if he died. Luo Feng encouraged him, believing he would overcome the pollution just as he had defeated countless enemies before. Yuan Shan Palace Master then departed, leaving Luo Feng aware that they might never meet again unless the pollution was completely suppressed. As time passed, the avatars of the elders who had died during the battle gradually returned to Yuan City. Luo Feng summoned the 7 elders who had lost their important secret treasures after being attacked by the super-limit level enchanting heartworms. He returned every one of their treasures without asking for compensation, explaining that they had risked everything while defending Yuan City. The elders were deeply grateful because, under normal cultivator customs, battlefield spoils belonged to whoever obtained them. They also compared Luo Feng favorably with Wei Yang Palace Master, who would never have returned such valuable treasures and had always claimed a large share of the city's benefits. The elders informed Luo Feng that Wei Yang Palace Master had secretly been moving resources out of Yuan City through other elders. Preparing to leave, Luo Feng already knew and chose not to interfere, believing Wei Yang Palace Master intended to withdraw voluntarily. Only 5 days later, Wei Yang Palace Master's avatar personally visited Luo Feng, reflecting on how Luo Feng had become overwhelmingly powerful, capable of suppressing 4 super-limit level enemies and annihilating almost the entire invading low-level primordial life army with the city's formation. Wei Yong Palace Master admitted that even carrying his own secret treasures, he would likely be unable to survive a single move from Luo Feng. He formally announced his decision to leave Yuan City forever and requested the return of the 2 important secret treasures he had lost when his avatar died to the super-limit level enchanting heartworm, offering to pay any price. Luo Feng mocked his audacity, reminding himself that Wei Yong Palace Master had once tried to force him from the position of Heavenly Patrol Palace Commander and had even acted against him. Nevertheless, Luo Feng offered him 2 choices: destroy his own avatar or have Luo Feng do it. Realizing Luo Feng had no intention of returning the treasures and feeling the killing intent behind those words, Wei Yong Palace Master respectfully chose to destroy his own avatar, which immediately dissipated. Luo Feng watched without sympathy, believing that Wei Yong Palace Master did not deserve mercy. Luo Feng had already removed both Wei Yong Palace Master and Master Gai Dao from the city's core formation, stripping them of their palace master positions. Over time, the elders came to understand Luo Feng's character. Aside from the resources rightfully belonging to the city lord, he never competed for additional wealth within Yuan City. This attracted many powerful cultivators, palace masters, elders, and ordinary cultivators to settle there. The city became famous as an exceptionally safe place governed by a city lord who protected weaker cultivators instead of exploiting them. Emperor Cheng, Emperor Ming, and Di Fu, who managed many of Luo Feng's administrative affairs, observed that Luo Feng's strength had completely transformed the city's order, since he could monitor the entire city through its formation and eliminate any threat instantly. His command alone ensured that no thieving or looting organizations could survive within Yuan City. They also noticed that Luo Feng appeared less frequently, suspecting that much of his attention had already shifted toward other worlds, especially the dark sacred realm. In reality, Luo Feng had remained in secluded cultivation for nearly half an epoch while benefiting from the 100 Tribulations heart essence, greatly improving his cultivation. After its effects completely faded, he emerged, erased the previous formations protecting Yuan City, and carefully established a much stronger formation, leaving behind only an ordinary avatar to control the city's defenses. He quietly departed, confident that even this avatar, combined with the formation, could deter any enemy more effectively than during the previous battle. Luo Feng then traveled alone across the 9 Rivers sacred realm, following the course of the 9 rivers and observing the land. Along the way, foolish low-level primordial lives attacked him and were effortlessly killed, their corpses stored among his treasures. Eventually, he reached the holy mountain at the center of the 9 Rivers sacred realm. Instead of using the teleportation dark lake at the mountain's base, he climbed directly to the summit. Having completely perfected the undying blood sea body, the mountain's immense pressure felt no stronger than a gentle breeze. At the summit, he found another dark teleportation pool. After sensing that it connected to a distant world, Luo Feng stepped into it and disappeared, beginning his journey to the dark sacred realm. A droplet enveloped Luo Feng and carried him at high speed through the primordial space. As he watched the outside, he saw a vast source world disappear behind him in an instant. He reflected that all beings inside the braided cage require the protection of a world, either a source world or one created by Senior Yuan and the others. Without such protection, they would quickly perish in the primordial space, whose endless violent primordial force constantly erodes life. Only those who have escaped the braided cage can survive there for long periods. Luo Feng realized that what he could currently observe was only an insignificant fraction of the true primordial space. Back in the land of origin, he had used the Eye of Life and Death to observe it in far greater detail. Seeing magnificent layers of space, colorful energy flows, countless forms of energy, and the evolution of many creatures. Without the Eye of Life and Death, he could only see darkness and the occasional enormous entity. During the journey, Luo Feng noticed a misty whirlpool about 1/10 the size of the land of origin, with a misty head extending from it and looking toward him. Judging by its size, he believed it was a high-level primordial life. Such beings are occasionally encountered during transmission, while world-level primordial life are extremely rare. Since cultivators inside the braided cage have limited ability to judge strength, they mainly estimate it by size. Beings only slightly smaller than an entire source world are considered primordial ancestors. The most terrifying existences, those larger than the land of origin, are believed to be world-level primordial life. While those comparable to a small portion of the land of origin are generally high-level primordial life. Luo Feng also knew these judgments could be inaccurate because some powerful beings deliberately reduce their size. The droplet soon reached the dark sacred realm, a special black world with a faint dark red glow that was much smaller than a source world, and entered it instantly. Luo Feng emerged from a dark lake atop the holy mountain. He immediately sensed the suppressive power of the entire world, which was comparable to that of the Nine Rivers sacred realm. His late-stage divine emperor life and death Tao remained stable there without requiring any adjustment, confirming that his life and death Tao was gradually adapting to every world. A nearby cultivator informed Luo Feng that an official flying boat would soon transport everyone to the 5 cities of the dark sacred realm because traveling alone was dangerous. Luo Feng saw more than 50 cultivators gathered there, all at least at the late-stage divine emperor enlightened level. After thanking the cultivator, Luo Feng ignored the flying boat, broke through the void, and flew away directly. The gathered cultivators were shocked because performing short-distance space travel inside the dark sacred realm was considered an ability possessed only by some pinnacle-level existences. They realized Luo Feng had to be among the strongest beings in the realm. However, despite recognizing his black clothing and appearance, none of them could identify him. Since the dark sacred realm has only 5 cultivator cities and pinnacle-level experts are usually well known, they were puzzled that Luo Feng did not appear in any of their collected intelligence. Having already received detailed information about the dark sacred realm from Yuan Shan Palace Master and the cultivator team, Luo Feng headed directly toward Chungfang City, the closest city to the transmission Holy Mountain and the city where the cultivator team was stationed. Yuan Shan Palace Master had originally sought help there because of its convenient location. After arriving, Luo Feng did not rush into the city, instead exploring the surrounding area out of curiosity. He knew the dark sacred realm contained far more and much stronger low-level primordial life than the Nine Rivers sacred realm, and he looked forward to encountering them. He had also learned that primordial prisoners, high-level primordial life whose powers had been sealed, occasionally appeared in the wilderness instead of only being imprisoned within large primordial halls. Whenever one was discovered, cultivators would form teams to hunt it. Although acting alone at the pinnacle level was generally dangerous in the dark sacred realm, Luo Feng believed such threats posed little danger to him. As Luo Feng walked, the biomimetic destruction eye on his forehead continuously observed the surroundings. After consuming the 100 Tribulations heart essence, his thinking speed had increased by 3,000 times, and his constant inspiration had lasted for most of an era. This period of cultivation was more effective than his normal cultivation over several millennia. During that retreat, although his life path and destruction path encountered obstacles, they both reached the half-primordial level. However, advancing his life and death Tao became much more difficult. He steadily refined it by integrating the nourishment of life and destruction until reaching a bottleneck where no further progress was possible. Unable to continue, he focused instead on improving the undying blood sea body, the biomimetic destruction eye, and other secret techniques. Although his life and death Tao had not yet reached the half-primordial level, Luo Feng had accumulated far deeper understanding than during the Battle of Yulan City. Combined with his half-primordial level mastery of the life and destruction paths, his overall realm and the power of his secret techniques had increased significantly. His biomimetic destruction eyes soon discovered a team of primordial Wild Hoof clan members. Unlike those in the Nine Rivers sacred realm, which usually acted alone or in very small groups, this team consisted of 82 members, including 7 Divine Emperor Perfection level and 75 late-stage Divine Emperor level warriors. Luo Feng judged that such a force would not survive even a single exchange against someone with Wei Yang Palace Master's strength. Interested, Luo Feng stepped through a spatial fissure and instantly appeared near the team. The 82 primordial Wild Hoofs immediately detected him and attacked without hesitation. As endless conflict between cultivators and low-level primordial life had made killing instinctive, countless blue watery thunderbolts filled the void and rained down upon Luo Feng. He remained motionless while an invisible force blocked every attack, leaving even a single strand of his hair untouched. Realizing their combined attack had no effect, every primordial wild hoof immediately slowed down and prepared to flee. Luo Feng extended his hand, which transformed into a massive furry claw that pierced the void and isolated the surrounding space. The entire primordial wild hoof team became trapped within that separated region. When Luo Feng withdrew his hand, all 82 imprisoned primordial wild hoofs rested in his palm like tiny toys. Completely unable to resist, their bodies remained intact, but every life core silently split apart. Killing them all, Luo Feng stored every corpse inside his storage treasure. The entire low-level primordial life team had posed no threat whatsoever. Luo Feng estimated that during the Battle of Yuan City he had been capable of suppressing 4 super-limit-level opponents by himself. Whereas now he could suppress 10, giving him strength comparable to an entire peak-level team. Despite this tremendous growth, Luo Feng knew he was still far from invincible. Invincibility stood an entire level above the peak level and required power equal to at least 20 or 30 peak-level existences. Truly supreme beings whose spiritual will had escaped the braided cage could overwhelm peak-level experts through the crushing force of their will alone. Luo Feng eventually arrived at the shore of a lake, sat down cross-legged, and quietly contemplated the remaining mysteries of his cultivation. Luo Feng discovered that his path of life and death had completely reached a dead end, making him question whether the path he had developed was fundamentally wrong. During the Godly King stage, cultivators could rely on a complete Great Tao for guidance, so failure only reflected insufficient comprehension. However, at the Divine Emperor stage, cultivators had to explore without guidance, making it easy to take the wrong path and become permanently trapped. The fusion Tao was especially difficult because its complexity far exceeded that of a single Tao, and even the Master of Deceit workshop had only advanced it to the early Divine Emperor stage. Although Luo Feng trusted that his eye of life and death had allowed him to study countless primordial bloodlines and that his overall direction was correct, he could not determine how to overcome his current bottleneck. His goal for the fusion of life and destruction was to create the ultimate physical body. Believing that greater size meant greater energy, stronger explosive power, and limitless vitality, the problem was how to control such an enormous body. Based on his recent progress after the Battle of Yuan City, Luo Feng estimated that the theoretical half-primordial life and death path should possess an energy reserve equal to 1.2 billion times that of a perfect divine body. As the most difficult of the 3 invincible paths, once completed it would be absolutely invincible. Luo Feng recalled that during the middle stage of his life and death path, his undying blood sea body possessed 500 times the perfect divine body's energy reserve at peak combat power and could barely control more than 10,000 times that amount without increasing strength. Now, his undying blood sea body possessed 3,000 times the perfect divine body's energy reserve at peak combat power and could control up to 100,000 times that amount before its massive size prevented perfect control and reduced combat efficiency. The theoretical energy reserve of 1.2 billion times far exceeded his current ability to control his body. Such a body would be difficult even to move, revealing that his greatest weakness lay in body control. Every other aspect of his path of life and death had already reached its intended goal, including immense physical size, indestructible vitality, and overwhelming destructive power. The only remaining flaw was the inability to control the body once it became truly enormous. Drawing upon his understanding of many primordial bloodlines, Luo Feng concluded that perfectly controlling such a body would probably require 2 conditions. First, body control itself had to undergo a fundamental transformation. Second, his spiritual will had to break free from the braided cage. Only by satisfying both conditions might perfect control become possible. From discussions with Yuan Shan Palace Master and the Cultivator team, Luo Feng had learned that when spiritual will first broke free from the braided cage, its power increased by only about 10 times. Throughout history, many cultivators had followed this first invincible path. Such a will could completely suppress experts like Yuan Shan Palace Master with a single thought. But it could not annihilate them. Luo Feng concluded that a mere 10-fold increase in willpower was nowhere near enough for perfect body control. Even a 100-fold increase would probably only allow such an enormous body to fly flexibly and execute simple movements. It would still be incapable of performing the most profound techniques or handling multiple tasks simultaneously. True mastery required controlling the massive body while deploying formations. fighting in close combat, using the biomimetic destruction eye for observation, and activating secret treasures at the same time. Since a tenfold increase in spiritual will could not accomplish this, Luo Feng suspected that his entire approach might be flawed. Perhaps the path of life and death should not pursue the ultimate physical size after all. Even so, Luo Feng refused to abandon the direction he had chosen. If he changed the foundation of the path, he would have to overturn everything he had built since the ultimate God-King realm and begin developing an entirely new system. Although starting from a blank foundation was ideal, abandoning an old path still left lingering influences that made creating a truly new one extremely difficult. Cultivation demanded choosing the correct direction from the beginning because one mistake would affect every step thereafter. Luo Feng encouraged himself by remembering that the ancestors of the two great nations had cultivated through several reincarnation eras on the land of origin. While his own cultivation time was still very short, he quietly entered deep contemplation, seeking inspiration from countless primordial bloodlines: the Undying Heart, the Palm World, the Star Tower, and the Eye of Life and Death. He realized that even the Star Tower merely combined life and destruction instead of truly fusing them. Ordinary cultivation paths could study the mysteries contained within primordial life corpses. But the fusion Tao possessed no existing reference whatsoever. Although early progress had been manageable, advancement became increasingly difficult. Luo Feng had now encountered an enormous bottleneck between the late Divine Emperor stage and Divine Emperor perfection. He also recognized that this was not even the greatest challenge of the fusion Tao. Advancing from Divine Emperor perfection to the primordial level represented an almost impossible gulf, countless times more difficult than his current obstacle. Because of this overwhelming difficulty, many exceptionally talented cultivators abandoned their own Tao and instead cultivated bloodlines to escape the braided cage. Luo Feng continued searching for methods to master his physical body. Numerous possible techniques appeared in his mind, but each was immediately rejected because he could already foresee its future limitations. While continuously contemplating cultivation, Luo Feng traveled through the dark sacred realm. Whenever he encountered low-level primordial lifeforms, he casually eliminated them. Sometimes stronger enemies appeared after weaker ones were killed, and eventually terrifying teams attempted to surround him. Using the biomimetic destruction eye, Luo Feng detected these dangers from afar and escaped rapidly by traversing through the cracks between heaven and earth. After traveling and cultivating for half an era, Luo Feng finally arrived at Chungfang city. Completely concealing his aura, he stepped directly into the city through space. Unnoticed by almost all cultivators, the dark sacred realm gathered the strongest cultivators from many surrounding source worlds and countless worlds. With late-stage Divine Emperor enlightenment serving as the minimum qualification for entry. Even half-primordial bloodline cultivators occupied the lowest ranks there. Luo Feng sensed Bai Yin Divine Emperor and the other two members of the cultivator team through causality but chose not to visit them immediately. Instead, he headed directly toward the primordial hall. He knew that only Primordial City, the central city established by Senior Yuan and the others when the dark sacred realm was founded, possessed the largest primordial hall. Over countless years, cultivators had spent battle merits to construct 4 additional cities, making it easier to hunt surrounding low-level primordial lifeforms. Exchanges within the dark sacred realm required much higher prices than those in the 9 Rivers sacred realm. Luo Feng entered the second floor of the primordial hall, where 2 puppet guardians created by Senior Yuan and the others awakened to receive him. They asked whether he wished to verify battle merits or exchange treasures. Luo Feng chose to verify battle merits and produced his storage bracelet containing the corpses of all the primordial lifeforms he had hunted. After examining the contents, the puppets reported that the bracelet contained 9 super limit level corpses, 2,902 Divine Emperor perfection level corpses, 39,522 late stage Divine Emperor corpses, 68,990 middle-stage Divine Emperor corpses, and 83,560 early-stage Divine Emperor corpses. The puppets announced that Luo Feng now possessed 7,717,660 battle merits. Although many peak experts in the dark sacred realm accumulated millions of battle merits by purchasing them with primordial crystals, Luo Feng's situation was different. 100,000 primordial crystals could purchase a single battle merit. and spending tens of billions of primordial crystals could buy millions of battle merits. Many cities, including Yuan City, regularly participated in such exchanges. Luo Feng's 7 million battle merits had been earned entirely through personally hunting primordial lifeforms. And the value of those corpses amounted to tens of trillions of primordial crystals. Considering this wealth sufficient for his needs, Luo Feng immediately headed toward the first floor of the primordial hall. Intending to sell all of the corpses, Luo Feng went to the first level of the primordial hall in Chungfang City, where only 3 major forces purchased low-level primordial life corpses. Because cultivators spent long periods in seclusion and rarely hunted, he was the only customer there. He informed the representatives of the 3 forces that he wished to sell a batch of low-level primordial life corpses and opened his storage bracelet for inspection. The 3 divine emperors examined the contents with their spiritual senses and were shocked by the enormous number of corpses. None of them had ever seen such a vast collection. Normally, acquiring more than 1,000 corpses at once was already considered extraordinary. Hunting in the dark sacred realm was extremely dangerous because battles against weaker enemies attracted stronger ones, while fighting stronger enemies often drew entire squads. In the 9 Rivers sacred realm, powerful cities were rarely attacked by low-level primordial life, and if an assault failed, the invading army usually retreated. Only when a city was successfully breached could the defenders destroy almost the entire invading force. But such victories were exceedingly rare. The representatives admitted that the transaction was far beyond their authority. Luo Feng introduced himself and declared that whoever offered the highest price would obtain the entire collection. Otherwise he would sell them in another city. The 3 forces immediately promised to report the matter to their superiors and offer a satisfactory price, knowing that such a massive deal would still generate significant profit. At that moment, Luo Feng noticed 3 powerful figures approaching: the old man Bo Shu, the winged woman divine emperor Bai Yin, and the red-robed youth Kai Zhen. Their presence intimidated everyone nearby. They warmly greeted Luo Feng, and the divine emperors managing the primordial hall respectfully saluted them. Showing their high status in Chungfang City, Luo Feng had intended to visit them after completing his transaction. Bo Shu explained that such an enormous deal required approval from higher authorities and invited Luo Feng to his cave mansion while waiting for the offers. Before leaving, Bo Shu instructed the 3 purchasing forces to negotiate fairly and warned them that Luo Feng would not sell if the price was too low. Luo Feng then departed with the 3 peak experts. The divine emperors remaining in the primordial hall wondered about Luo Feng's background after seeing him produce hundreds of thousands of low-level primordial life corpses and noticing his close relationship with Bo Shu's group. They immediately reported the transaction along with detailed images of the corpses. The information quickly shocked many peak-level experts throughout Chungfang City because even among them, very few possessed wealth comparable to Luo Feng's. Inside Bo Shu's spacious pale white cave mansion, the 4 of them drank together happily. Kai Zhen joked that Bai Yin had postponed entering seclusion because she expected Luo Feng to arrive. Bai Yin admitted that after reaching her current level, seclusion no longer produced meaningful improvement, while even a little guidance from Luo Feng might benefit her more than cultivating for billions of eras. The 3 peak experts all desired further advancement and believed Luo Feng's extraordinary talent and recent breakthrough gave him superior insight, making any advice from him extremely valuable. Luo Feng admitted that he was also trapped at a bottleneck. Bo Shu invited him to explain the problem so they could discuss it together. Luo Feng revealed that he was trying to determine how spiritual will could perfectly control an unimaginably enormous physical body. He asked them to imagine a body 100,000 times larger than the ultra-limit level primordial Wild Hoof clan. The 3 were astonished. Bo Shu concluded that even someone whose will had broken free from the braided cage could not perfectly control such a gigantic body. Kai Zhen said he had never heard of any divine emperor capable of such a feat. Bai Yin suggested that perhaps only after breaking free from the braided cage and becoming a high-level primordial life could someone achieve it. Luo Feng silently disagreed because his goal was to perfect the divine emperor life and death Dao while remaining at the divine emperor level. In theory, his body should be able to reach such immense proportions before undergoing another qualitative transformation after eventually becoming a higher-level primordial life. During their discussion, Bo Shu received a message from the city lord. Chungfang City's city lord offered 73 trillion primordial crystals for Luo Feng's collection of corpses. Luo Feng considered the price satisfactory. Bo Shu explained that the two strongest known experts in the dark sacred realm were Divine Emperor GK, who had refined a world-level primordial bloodline, and Dragon 9 Taoist monarch, who cultivated 3.5 primordial level paths. Chungfang City's Feng Chao city lord was Dragon 9 Taoist monarchs Jr. and was known for offering generous prices. Luo Feng asked how close those two experts were to the invincible level. Kai Zhen replied that they were only somewhat stronger than Bo Shu's group, and that the three of them working together could rival either one individually. Luo Feng realized that the three strongest individuals in the dark sacred realm were effectively Divine Emperor GK, Dragon 9 Taoist monarch, and himself. While truly invincible experts had mostly broken free from the braided cage and rarely appeared there anymore. Bo Shu informed Luo Feng that the other two purchasing forces had offered 71 trillion and 72 trillion 2 billion primordial crystals respectively. Luo Feng chose to sell the corpses to the city lord. Bo Shu explained that once the agreement was confirmed, the city lord would begin gathering the required primordial crystals. He also asked whether Luo Feng wished to purchase any treasures, noting that the city lord could provide discounted prices. Luo Feng requested a large quantity of primordial bloodlines along with auxiliary cultivation treasures. Bo Shu provided a complete catalog of all low-level primordial life bloodlines available throughout the surrounding world clusters, explaining that the dark sacred realm gathered the greatest variety of such bloodlines. Luo Feng ordered every available low-level primordial bloodline belonging to the life and destruction categories, including all related ordinary remnant materials. He purchased every relevant bloodline from the early Divine Emperor stage up to the super limit level, excluding only those he already possessed. The entire bloodline purchase cost 1,252 billion primordial crystals, only a tiny fraction of his wealth. The greatest expense came from the super limit level bloodlines. Each such bloodline cost approximately 5 billion primordial crystals, and Luo Feng purchased 189 different super limit level bloodlines covering life, destruction, and combined attributes. Remembering the effectiveness of the 100 Tribulations heart essence, Luo Feng also bought a large quantity of high-quality auxiliary cultivation treasures to help overcome his bottleneck, spending another 300 billion primordial crystals. After sending the complete purchase list to Bo Shu remarked that the amount of auxiliary treasures was still relatively small and would not even last 1 billion eras if used carefully. Luo Feng simply replied that it was more than enough. Bo Shu, Kai Zhen, and Bai Yin noticed that Luo Feng still possessed more than 70 trillion primordial crystals after selling goods worth about 73 trillion primordial crystals and spending only a small portion on treasures. They assumed he intended to use the remaining wealth at the large primordial hall in Primordial City. Luo Feng confirmed this, explaining that the greatest treasures in the dark sacred realm were found there. The ancient primordial hall contained countless rare items beyond even the infinite space, allowing exchanges for cities, bloodlines, secret treasures such as the Eye of Life and Death, and even living primordial prisoners. Bo Shu warned Luo Feng that carrying more than 70 trillion primordial crystals was extremely dangerous and questioned whether he could even reach Primordial City alive. Bai Yin explained that the dark sacred realm lived up to its name because of its constant chaos. He said the two strongest experts were Dragon 9 Taoist monarch and Divine Emperor GK. Yet even they individually possessed strength only comparable to the combined power of Bo Shu, Kai Zhen, and Bai Yin. Therefore, personal strength alone was insufficient unless one had truly invincible power. Bo Shu described the three dominant forces in Chungfang City. The first was the city lord's faction, consisting of 29 peak-level experts. Although Dragon 9 Taoist monarch was their true leader, he remained in the large primordial hall in Primordial City, leaving the city lord in charge. The second force was led by Secret Ruin's Divine Emperor, whose mastery of formations ranked among the top 3 in the dark sacred realm. With 15 peak-level members working together through formations, they possessed tremendous strength. The third force was the 8 Friends of the Heavenly Wolf, a group of 8 peak-level experts who had once followed the invincible Heavenly Wolf Guest. Heavenly Wolf Guest had become invincible through extraordinary speed, later escaped the braided cage, and rewarded his followers. giving them a unique position within the dark sacred realm. The three friends looked at Luo Feng because they wished to follow him, believing he had the potential to become an invincible existence. Once someone reached true invincibility, they ascended and no longer needed followers. So loyal supporters had to choose early. The 8 friends of the Heavenly Wolf had gained their current status by doing exactly that. Luo Feng realized that many cultivators in the dark sacred realm had connections with experts who had escaped the braided cage, such as Elder Xingyi of Yuan City, who was the disciple of an invincible being. Since the dark sacred realm was the core of the surrounding world cluster, every invincible expert who escaped had left behind disciples, friends, and other influences. Bo Shu warned that if Luo Feng left Chungfang City carrying more than 70 trillion primordial crystals, even the 3 of them together could not protect him. He estimated that the City Lord's faction had about a 50% chance of attacking, while Secret Ruins Divine Emperor's faction and the 8 Friends of the Heavenly Wolf had an 80 to 90% chance. Secret Ruins Divine Emperor's group desperately needed resources, while the 8 Friends of the Heavenly Wolf, despite already being wealthy, had likely experienced soul pollution after receiving Heavenly Wolf Guest's gift, making them extremely greedy and ruthless. Bo Shu emphasized that the greatest threat in the dark sacred realm came from organized groups rather than individuals because the difference in strength among peak-level experts was relatively small. Any one of the 3 major factions could overwhelm Luo Feng unless he possessed invincible strength. Bo Shu advised Luo Feng to immediately purchase every treasure he wanted and have the sellers deliver those treasures directly to the Transmission Holy Mountain, where one of his avatars could receive them and transport them safely back to the source world. He also recommended converting most of the remaining primordial crystals into battle merit because only ordinary treasures in the large primordial hall could be purchased with primordial crystals, while valuable treasures required battle merit. Battle merit registered under Luo Feng's name could not be stolen. Kai Zhen explained that peak-level experts normally accumulated only several trillion primordial crystals after countless ages and usually converted most of them into battle merit. Luo Feng's wealth equaled the combined accumulated resources of about 10 peak-level experts. And because it remained in the form of primordial crystals, it was an irresistible target for plunder. Although the 3 friends had chosen to support Luo Feng and valued their relationship over greed, they admitted that such an enormous fortune could tempt almost anyone. Luo Feng sincerely thanked all 3 of them for their advice.